Okay. Good day. This is a solutions-based security analysis and Indigenous education film. Save the Amazon. How to do it. Okay, so first of all, Indigenous education and solutions-based security analysis. They go hand in hand. Solutions-based security analysis is different from other forms of security analysis in that it offers solutions, real, honest, true ones, not the forked tongue speak of politicians and corporate leaders. Secondarily, it's an honest appraisal. Most security analysis belong to a certain group and hence they tailor their views to them. We don't, we are honest. And our goal is to help the planet and help the people flourish on the planet. Critical. Indigenous education, without going into exactly what that is, teaches a reverence for life, because the reverence for life, for nature, the manifestation of life, is the foundation of everything, even human values. From a reverence for life, you get sane politics, sane society, sane culture, sane relationships. You understand proportion, you understand balance because nature teaches it. The fluctuating, changing, waxing and waning of yin and yang within natural systems, as it were, from a Taoist point of view. Okay, so we're going to talk about saving the Amazon and actual ways to do it, because what we've got at the moment is some photos from outer space telling us that it's a terrible destruction, and it goes on and on and on and on and on, and nobody stops it. This can't continue. So let's have a little history lesson. The Amazon has been around as an ecosystem evolving for about 55 million years. It's a very, very long time. But of course, it took the 4 billion years of Earth's cohesion and evolution for that to be able to take place. On the other hand, a Portuguese mariner, first for the Europeans, went to that part of the world in 1500. So Cabral, I think it was Pedro Cabral, went there in 1500 and said, this land is now Portugal's. The thing is that there were indigenous people, there were tribal people that living there for thousands of years who lived in harmony with the Amazon forest. Okay, so really that is actually a legal act. Only 500 years. So what does give the right for peoples who have been there for just a few hundred years to say that they own something that has been there for 55 million years, which has inhabitants, which by and large do not want the destruction of the Amazon rainforest or other ecosystems in Brazil and in Colombia and in Peru and in Bolivia and in Ecuador and in the other states that combine the Amazon. The same thing can be said for the rainforest and the forests and natural habitats all over the world, actually. We're concentrating on this particular place now. And the problem specifically of Brazil, because Brazil has 60% of the Amazon within it. So we can say that no state owns a natural resource that's grown there for millions of years. This applies to oil, gas, and living natural ecosystems. In my view, this is a very important fact of legislation. No one should be able to, who's been there, who's got no actual right, other than a made-up right, to exploit it. So there's the thing. We need to establish that Brazil does not have the right, nor no state, to willfully destroy ecosystems that in effect belong to the entirety of planet Earth. It's one ecosystem, our planet. And this is what Indigenous education teaches you. It teaches you a reverence for life. The things around the world actually aren't resources. They're living beings. They're part of an ecosystem. So Indigenous education teaches you to see for the trees, not just the wood. Okay? So how are we going to do it? How are we going to save the Amazon? Okay, well, here's one way, in a friendly and helpful and considerate, constructive way. Establish the profit that is gained from cattle ranching is the main form of destruction of the Amazon rainforest. The cattle industry and the leather industry that comes from there, the beef and leather, okay? Also, you've got soy plantations, which actually, ironically, although it's a vegetable, and we might think vegan, vegetarian, it's largely going towards animal feed. So these are the main drivers. We also have pollution from the gold mining and from the oil extraction. We have to deal with these things. So the profits that could be gained, we'll leave oil aside from it actually, because that's another issue. We'll deal with the other forms of economic, legal economic activity, as it were. So compensate for them. Compensate small farmers as well. To the exact amount of profit, give the exact same amount of profit for reforestation, and provide extensive UN troops to guard it and employ locals to guard it, employ local small-scale farmers in reforestation. All this is paid. All this is paid to the Brazilian, the Peruvian, the Colombian, the Ecuadorian, the Bolivian, and all the other governments of the Amazon, and all areas of natural importance and beauty, all natural habitats all over the world. And it can easily be paid for by just abandoning the space program. You see, we don't need to go to the moon. We don't need a space colony. We don't need to go to Mars. If you could see a diagram, you would see, which explained it in imagery, you would see resources being sucked out of the Earth, sucked to the moon, sucked to Mars, sucked to Jupiter. 9 billion is the price of one single telescope that they're using to explore space, when Macron has offered 27 million to save the Amazon, when the biggest environmental award in history, apparently, supposedly from Prince William and Sir David Attenborough in charge of it, in 10 years offering 50 million. Footballers get tens of millions for a contract, and yet to save the Amazon, we offer them peanuts. No. So basically, these politicians who are saying they're going to deal with climate change are largely dealing with economic realities, and they're being very disingenuous, because they're calling environmental protesters who are just trying to save their children's lives and the planet and everyone else's children's lives, crusties and no goods and so on and so forth, and that claiming to making Pocahontas choose Seattle speeches. Meanwhile, they're not stopping the destruction of the Amazon. They're not stopping the destruction of the Indonesian rainforest. They're not stopping the destruction of the East European forest. They're not stopping the destructions of the Central African rainforest, or any other rainforest, or any other natural habitats. They need to put their money where their mouth is. They need to stop funding the space programs. They need to stop thinking about economic development. We might have to ration. You know, here you see knowledge, beauty, incredible things that teach you about how European powers colonized the world and exploited it, how Africans slave each other then and now, how incredible, beautiful, devastating, amazing things were discovered. You know, here's amazing things, Amazon beaming. There's a world of knowledge, there's a world of beauty, there's a world of life, there's a world of wonder, there's amazing things to do, and we're selling it all down the river for a bunch of machines and a bit of AI. People need a reverence for life. That's where Indigenous education, that's what I call my version of it. There's plenty of other ways, just getting out into nature and appreciating the free energy we get all day, every single day, that every drop of water is a gift. Air is not just air, it's the gift of life itself. Every breath is a gift. And we need to protect these things, and everything comes from an intact and viable and beautiful and vibrant and shimmering emerald green blue home planet Earth. I'm not against the idea of, you Star Trek and explore other worlds. Great, when we've learned to take care of our home planet Earth, we'll be good ambassadors, should we ever get the technology to go there. So first, stop being warmongers and learn to take care of our home planet. Until then, we're a danger to anything in outer space. Not having contented themselves with raping the planet, Richard Branson, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are already beginning the rape of other planets, and along with the national governments, and this is unacceptable. We need to take the money from there and spread it around. As I said, all habitats have to be protected, and those corporations which profited from extraction of oil and gas, which is not theirs, it's the world's. They cannot be in charge. The gang rapers, in effect, cannot be in charge of the rehab and rescue and rehabilitation. They need to be punished for their crimes, at least made to pay. They certainly can't profit from the second wave. First they profited from the petrol, now they can't be seen to profit for the next thing. No, they need to pay back. And that sort of money is what we will use for the restoration of our home planet Earth, because we can do it. Although we're literally on the brink. We're literally on the brink. When Antonio Guterres is coming out and making speeches like he's going to do today, saying it's going to be a disaster, the disasters are unfolding, we're in deep trouble. But we can't leave it in the hands of people who are so disingenuous as Boris Johnson, and I argue Biden and so on. After all, John Cary is a serial private jet and luxury yacht user. How should he go around the world lecturing people about the environment? People need to get out and get their hands dirty, planting trees. That's what I put forward in my idea, worldwide mandatory planetary service. Education should begin with, as soon as you go to preschool, with children learning that air is the air of life, that trees are the trees of life, that water is the water of life, and a reverence for life. And then when they get older, they can start to learn about climate and climate change and the greenhouse effect. And they will absolutely want to safeguard our home planet Earth. And that's when they learn all the disaster mitigation, relief, first aid, about fair trade, economics, so everything should be fair trade. You shouldn't have to call it fair trade. It should just be a given. Everything should be ecological, I can't advertise things here, but you've got a coffee. But look up something to do with rainforest and sustainability, to do with coffee. You can maybe come up with some things which they take care of the forest. We have to live in harmony with nature. I'm not advertising here. I'm just trying to say that, there are ways of living on our home planet Earth. The purpose of a human being is actually to be a balancer of creation. And as I said, a study of nature teaches you that. An Indigenous education, what I call an Indigenous education. Indigenous, growing naturally out of a place, the place being our home planet Earth. Education, educere, educare, va bene? To draw out from within, the fact that we're totally embraced by and an integral part of this home planet Earth. We are nature, and it's our duty and our ability to choose to harmonise with and to enhance, not to rape and destroy for profit. There are wonders. I want to lead a life. I've got millions of skills that I still need to learn, develop, enjoy, explore. They're not to do with money, really. There's so much beauty in life. There's so much wonder, but my own daughter's telling me, what's the point in getting a career, because we're all going to die, aren't we? The fact is, most people are. I don't mean eventually. I mean, we're going to be killed by these devastating storms and fires and floods, and terrorism is going to arise because of it. But we can turn it back. We can save the Amazon. We can save all the rainforests and natural habitats. We can save humanity as a part of nature. Thank you. I've got to go and do a brutal day's hard labour. But a good day, and have a good day too. Save the planet for all my relations, for all our relations. Aho.